Hello everyone, welcome to another DSP video. As I said, we're going to do part 2 of this countdown. I am hungry, so I'm going to eat this as I do this video, so bear with me, I guess.
What is up, and welcome back everyone to my countdown of the top 10 worst things about modern gaming. If you haven't seen part 1 yet, I strongly recommend you check it out and get caught up. You can either click on the screen here if you're watching on PC,
Why is FGS here?
on the annotation, or you can check the video description if you're on mobile to go ahead and watch that first. But without further ado, I want to continue on with the countdown, so here goes. Number 7, popular games that have bad cameras but refuse to admit it or improve upon it.
MGS has a good camera system. What is wrong with this camera? I don't know.
You know, we've come a long way. I remember back at Mario 64 how terrible that camera was and how it would constantly get stuck and not show you the proper perspectives to see what you needed to do in certain situations. And admittedly, modern gaming is a lot better at that.
Come on. Mario 64 didn't have that bad of a camera angle, was it? No, it's not that big of a deal. I've played worse games.
You know, a lot of games are first person in this day and age, in which case the camera is controlled by you 100% of the time, and even in most third person action style games, the camera tends to be pretty good. But there's one series of games from one game developer that infamously I have issue with the camera, yet it seems like they don't want to ever improve it. That's right, From Software, I'm looking at you. I'm a huge fan of the Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and now Bloodborne line of games, and I've played every single one of them. However, every time that I play one, without question, I end up having issues with the camera, especially in particular if I'm getting attacked by a mob of enemies in a confined space, or if
Look at that face.
I'm fighting a giant boss and I end up getting pushed into a wall or a cave or something like that. The camera sticks to the wall. I can't see anything. And because it's Dark Souls, I get pummeled into oblivion within a matter of 1 to 2 hits, forcing me to completely restart whatever I'm doing from the beginning or the previous bonfire or checkpoint. It's incredibly frustrating, and it's funny because whenever I play these games on stream and one of these deaths happen, people literally will say, yep, it's another Dark Souls camera issue, it's another From Software camera issue, yet they've never fixed it.
I'm sure there's only DSP fans that say that, because I'm sure if you look on YouTube, you'll find other YouTubers not have these problems. Just saying.
It's almost like the cameraman for From Software games is like that inept half-brother who your mom tells you gotta give him a job because he can't get one anywhere else, so you can't lay him off or fire him even though you know he does a terrible job. He's just gotta stick around and always do it for you. I mean, they can't improve this camera. They can't make it in a third-person action game this popular that makes this much money that the camera doesn't get stuck in a wall, or at least will rotate somehow naturally during one of these fights so you can see what's going on. The bottom line is, in a third-person action game, if you can't see your character, you can't react. Why From Software still hasn't fixed this, even up to Dark Souls 3 when it happened to me this year, I don't get it. It's unexcusable. It needs to be fixed. Number 6, random number generator purchases in modern games. Now, this has been something that's irked me, in particular recently with mobile gaming. In games such as WWE Supercard, or Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle, or even in a very popular game like Hearthstone. If you want to buy something in these games, you can't just buy specifically what you want. Instead, you have to buy in-game credits that are then used as currency to purchase a random pack. For example, in WWE Supercard, if you want an epic level superstar, you're not allowed to just pick the one you want and spend a certain amount of money. Instead, you have to open a
Well, yeah, because that would break the game. Those things are there for a reason to balance the game. Because if I was playing these games and there's a card that's like really good, I would just buy that and then I would have an awesome deck. The whole point of these packs and these random number generating things is so that there's a sense of balance of these things. Otherwise, everyone's gonna go in there, and if you're that one guy that doesn't want to freaking pay as much money or whatever, you're gonna get screwed. So it's not. It ruins the game at that point. And the whole point of it is so that you sink more money into the game. So these things are made for as a money sink. So they'll never change this for mobile games because they want your money.
Randomized pack that may or may not even have a character of that rarity that you're looking for, and you don't even know what character it is you're going to get if you get one. 9 times out of 10, you're going to be disappointed with what you get and either dump more money into it or end up dejected and disappointed and just not spending any more money. In Dokkan Battle, it's actually called a group summon, where you exchange crystals in order to get 10 randomized characters. And again, they could be incredibly low level and worthless to you, or they could be incredibly high level. Of course, that's incredibly rare that you would get that. The same thing goes for Hearthstone. You can't just buy the cards you want. Instead, you've got to spend your money on randomized pack drops with your fingers crossed and hope that eventually you're going to get the cards that you're looking for. It's ridiculous. In what other industry can't you buy what you want with your money?
These things are also trying to simulate card games. If you buy Magic the Gathering, you only buy certain decks, but you don't get the card you want. You would have to look. I mean, you could theoretically get the card you want for your your Magic decks, but you would have to pay a big amount of money to the person who owns it. It's an already open box that you're getting it from. That's how these companies make their money. This model is based off of card games that have been around for years. So
it's the vendor's job to set a price that they feel is appropriate. So yeah, if that's a really overpowered in-game item or card, you should have to spend more for it, but not just spend randomly in the hopes that maybe one day you'll get it. I don't understand. And to make matters even worse, it's spilled into the console realm as well. Look at games such as Halo 5 with its wreck drops and cases that you open up, and you get these randomized items and things that you can use in the multiplayer modes. Look at Call of Duty Black Ops 3 with its supply drops. Oh, I got a really epic level weapon. Well, no one else got it, but you got it because you're lucky, or maybe because you spent $500 opening random boxes for 2 hours. And of course,
wow.
The most recent game that is guilty of this is very popular and called Overwatch. Yeah, if you want those...
I like how he's already shitting on Overwatch, but he spent money to get 20 loot boxes. Same with other games, like those other games he listed. He spent money, except for he probably didn't buy Halo 5 and Black Ops 3. He didn't buy those things, but like he probably paid for those decks in Supercard and all that shit. But I know he did pay money for Street Fighter, not Street Fighter, WoW, Overwatch. He paid money, so he's kind of. Ugh. I mean, the thing is that like with this, you can get this stuff for free by just playing the game, so you don't have to spend money to get this. The only thing you're spending money is to get these loot boxes without trying. And as far as I understand with loot boxes in Overwatch is that they don't repeat items. I know that in Uncharted 4 in the online they don't repeat items, so I mean I'd assume it would be the same for Overwatch.
Really cool high-level skins, and you want any kind of awesome colors or anything, you have to open up loot boxes that randomly will have good items, and most often than not, they'll have crap in them, so you end up spending tons and tons of money. The problem with this practice...
Or you could just get them for free.
Is not only that you can't pick and choose what you want, but it takes the control of the purchase out of the hands of the consumer. It makes it the equivalent of gambling. I mean, if you go to a casino and you play a slot machine and you pull the lever and immediately you win, you get something great, you get a reward, you're going to get hooked and you're going to probably want to keep gambling. That's the hook of a casino. But casinos are regulated to make sure that it's fair and that it works. The question is anyone regulating this RNG number?
Okay, okay, Phil. Yeah, casinos are regulated. Okay.
Style purchases in gaming? Is anyone making sure that this is legitimate? And how many people are out there dumping tons and tons of money, 20 times as much as the value of the game, into these games in order to get one item that they want?
But like, what would they need to regulate in it though? Because in Overwatch, Uncharted 4, those kind of games, you're bound to get it because there's no repeating items. So eventually, more times than not, you will get your item. So this is a non-issue. I mean, I understand that he may not like. Look. I do miss the days when games used to give you just things when you unlock, when you level up, or you unlock stuff. You unlock a specific thing, like, oh, do this and you'll get this gun, or you do this, you get this costume, whatever. I do like that in games, and I do wish. I mean, it's not completely gone, but I wish that games still did that, where you leveled up and you get like stuff like that. This loot box, supply drops, whatever system that a lot of games are now adopting, I think just kind of misses the point. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these loot boxes or anything like that, but I think that they should be handled differently, or something. I don't know, but I just wish we kept having the old system of unlocking stuff than just having this random stuff as well. I don't like that either, but I mean, the thing is, like, if it's for cosmetic shit, like, if it's like, oh, for costumes, for the loot boxes, that's fine. But I don't think weapons should be included, because then, I don't know, but it's really not that big of a deal, to be honest.
I think it's a slippery slope that's really dangerous. Now, I'm sure there's going to be naysayers out there that say this isn't a negative and it's not a big deal. Allow me to give you an analogy.
Oh,
Imagine if
right.
you wanted to go to McDonald's today for dinner and you wanted to purchase a delicious Big Mac sandwich. You walk in, you put your money down on the counter, 1 Big Mac please, and the person behind the register says, I'm sorry, you can't just order what you want here, you have to purchase a random food pack, where you might or might not get what you want. Okay, I'd like 1 random food pack, please. Oh, sorry, you got a McChicken sandwich this time. Would you like to just have that, or do you want to try?
This is a terrible analogy, because games are built to have some kind of way. The way that they integrate the loot box system would be is organic, and it's a way that is built around that. A fast food restaurant is a terrible analogy, because I get what he's trying to say, but it's just no.
Try again. You know what? I really want that Big Mac. I don't like the chicken here. All right, $4 more. All right, here comes a random food pack. Oh, sorry. You got chicken nuggets this time. You're getting closer. If you just keep trying, maybe you'll get eventually what you actually want. All right, I'll try 1 more time, and dope, you got a small Coke. Sorry, bub. So, you see what I mean? If this was the same kind of practice in any other business, who the hell would do it? Who would walk?
But those other businesses, it doesn't work for other businesses. Of course it wouldn't work for other businesses. This works for games because these games that have it are built around this.
Into a restaurant and buy hundreds of dollars of food in order to get the sandwich they want? Who would walk into any store and spend thousands of dollars before they get the item that they actually want to purchase? I don't understand why we put up with it in gaming. It's a curse on it, and we really need to step up and start talking about it collectively. Number 5,
Yes.
Inconsistent performance of the same game across different platforms and consoles. This has always been an issue in gaming, but in the modern era when all the consoles are claiming to be of equivalent power and just as good as the other, it is really a sad fact that a lot of games don't perform the same.
Wait. So companies say that, oh, we're just as good as the competition? Did Phil, like, forget how every press conference Sony and Microsoft claim that their console is the best console? Like, oh, we have the best console, look at this, oh, the Xbox Scorpio is gonna have teraflops and all that kind of shit. Like, no one's saying that they're equal.
Same across all platforms, even though these game developers and publishers charge the same amount of money for that game. Why is it that some games perform at 900p resolution on one console but 1080p on the other, higher frame rate, lower frame rate, more consistent
So they should scale their games down for the less performing platform? So let's say that the Xbox One is a complete garbage console that can only do 20 frames and only 480p. Let's just say that it does that. And the PS4 can do 1080p, 60 frames, and the PC can do everything. It can do like amazing 4K and 100 frames. So Phil would rather have, instead of each console like utilizing it the best that it can, since the Xbox One can only do 480p and 20 frames, every other platform has to be 480p and 20 frames. No. The reason why they're different is because each console platform is developed differently, and they, you know, aren't the same. I'm not a game developer. I don't know coding and anything like that. But I can tell you right now, what he just said is fucking stupid. What he's saying is fucking stupid. So I can't believe he fucking put this in here and did not think about what he just said. But maybe he's gonna like enlighten us.
Frame rate, it's bullshit. Even though there are different hardware setups in these consoles, if you're paying the same amount of money for that game as someone who bought it on a different platform, you should get an equivalent gaming experience, and it is not acceptable.
But you are getting equivalent gaming experience because the core game is there. No one's paying for frames and resolution. Like that stuff's just, it's there, but like you're playing for the game. Like no one cares about graphics except for PC elitists. I'm just kidding, but you know what I mean.
Acceptable in 2016 that we're still getting inconsistency.
Okay, honestly, I don't see the difference between these pictures right now. I don't see the difference. No, the other one I kind of saw the difference, but you know, I probably wouldn't care if I had one or the other.
Amongst the different ports. The most recent game that had this issue for me was Dark Souls 3. I played it on the Xbox One, and I had just recently, a year earlier, played Bloodborne on the PS4, and I noticed there seemed to be a significant amount of input lag in the Xbox One version. I pushed a button, and my character would take a significant amount of time to react. And I was like, it's not like this in Bloodborne. It was actually pretty quick with the reactions in that game. I don't understand what's going on. Well, yes, it's found that the Xbox One version of Dark Souls.
He's so roundabout in this video. Like he can't just say what he's thinking. He has to like kind of like beat around the bush. Like, oh, it's just so annoying to listen to this.
3 does have more input delay than the PS4 version, so guess what? You actually are playing a harder game if you're playing it on Xbox One, simply because they couldn't port it properly and make it work the same way on both consoles. That's bullshit, because I paid the same amount of money for the same game as everyone who bought it on.
He bought this game. He downloaded it through the Japan store. He had to convert his money from dollars to yen. The conversion is a lot of money, so people have speculated that he has paid roughly around 90-something dollars to play Dark Souls 3, while most normal people who waited a week paid 60. He didn't pay equal price, he paid more because he wanted to get early views.
PS4, so shame on From Software for that. Number 4, everything in gaming has become some kind of a vile online competition.
Elitism. While this guy has been claiming that I am a former Street Fighter pro and I know Street Fighter, and I can tell you right now Street Fighter 5 is garbage because I know Street Fighter, and if you tell me otherwise, then you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Okay, Phil.
Even if you're not playing a competitive game. You know, I didn't know too much about this one until I started on YouTube back in 2008, and I just started to casually record my gameplay and upload it to my YouTube channel at that time as a hobby. Over the years, I found that there just seems to be this one group of people who, no matter what you're playing, seem to think that everything is this high-level competition, and if you're not playing at their level or in their way.
If you look at any of the comments that aren't deleted, or just look at people who actually said that he sucks at Metal Gear, they never say that, oh, you need to get on my level to play this. They just said that, wow, you're really bad at this game. You don't know how to, you wanted to use a shotgun at a sniper fight, you wanted to use an RPG during the boss fight, you know, you're not really using stealth, you're not listening to the game. All that stuff is just saying his faults at playing the game. They're not saying, I've played Metal Gear Solid 3 this many times, and I can tell you that you're not good and you should get to my level, because I'm not going to watch this if you're not playing the game the way that I play it. Like, no one ever said that to him. They just said that, hey man, you're kind of bad at this game, you know, you should really start doing this, and you should listen to the game more, because the game helps you out. You know, there's no elitism, and I'm glad that he threw this in here so he could shit on people for no reason.
or the way that they think is the approved way to play a certain style of game, that it's just unacceptable and you're just a disrespectful slob, and yada yada yada. Now, I can understand if there's someone who's saying, I'm gonna be great at a competitive game, like a first-person shooter or a fighting game, and then they never take the time to actually learn high-level tournament mechanics, but continue to talk shit. Okay.
Like Phil. Like Phil is talking about himself right now, guys.
Then maybe you can call them out and say, man, that person really isn't very good at that game. But you have to understand that there is an audience of people who go out there to play games who aren't in it to be the best player, who aren't in it for competition. Maybe they just want to play through the game at their own pace, in their own way, to have fun. What a novel concept, to play a game just to have fun. And I'm going to be honest here, there are a few communities out there that are singularly worse than a lot of others. Yes, again, I'm bringing it up, From Software and the Dark Souls games, it seems if you're not some massive level player who plays exactly the way that people call out you should be.
I mean, like, look, yeah, there are communities that do this. That there are. I'm not going to say that there aren't. But I have not seen a lot of them when I, come out of the woodwork. I mean, I would kind of... Honestly, I would feel that it's more on the fighting games. Like, if you start talking about fighting tiers and all that, someone's going to... Like, I was in... a chat room once, and I said, like, yeah, Ken is kind of cheap, and he's just not, he's a very easy character to master. He's not, there's really nothing challenging about him, or anything unique or different. I mean, there's something different between him and Street Fighter 5 and 4, sure, but, like, when I see Ken players, they're just so boring, and they're just patterns. And then someone will say, no, Ken's great, and it's like, yeah, but, like, I would expect that in a fighting game community, because that's, these people live, breathe fighting games, and they, probably know the, tiers and all this kind of stuff better than I do. I'm just going off from what I have experienced in the game, and, all that kind of stuff, so obviously I'm not going to match up with these kinds of people, regardless, but there are people that do that, but, I don't know the Dark Souls community, because I don't really care about the Souls games, to be honest. Metal Gear, I'm in the Metal Gear community. The only thing you'll hear is that Metal Gear is not an action game, it's a sneaking game, and all this kind of stuff, etc., etc. But the worst fan community I've ever been in, that made me just... I mean, for a while it was the Legend of Korra for a while, because I liked Legend of Korra, but I think Legend of Korra and Avatar, both those fan communities were just awful, because they were both shitting on each other. It was both like saying, oh, which is the best one? Oh, this is perfect. No, this is perfect. Oh, well, Korra is terrible because look at this. And it's a fucking show. But the worst by far is Steven Universe. For a while it was the Avatar fan communities for a while, but then I saw the Steven Universe community. Man, I like Steven Universe, but my god, if I saw that fan community earlier, I probably would have stayed away from that show. So, I understand why people don't like Steven Universe or the community, because they're really fucking insane. But there are people like that, but Phil hasn't experienced it. He's just saying that because people told him that he sucks at the game, and they even tried to help him out, but he took that as trolling, so there you go.
Fighting every enemy and mastering every aspect of the combat.
But the thing is that people were complaining about him not fighting every enemy was because it was boring. I saw part of his Dark Souls 3 stream. I stopped watching because it was so boring. It was just him running away, finding ways to get around enemies. That's not even fun. How is that even fun? Like, I would understand if, like, he goes in and he's like, oh crap, I'm low on health, and this and that, I gotta run. That's different, because that intensity is fun to experience and watch. But he had full health, he had weapons, he had all this stuff, and he was still running like a bitch. That's not fun.
Completely countering every boss, you suck. Even though you might beat the game by playing it in a different style, you still suck and you're horrible and you're going to be derided and called out. Another series that's very infamous for this is the Metal Gear Solid series. God forbid that you play through the game and not actually pay attention to something that's going on, or even jokingly
Yeah, how dare you not pay attention then complain about the thing that the game talked about that you didn't pay attention to because the game assumed that when you played the game you would take the time to understand the basics. Yeah, fucking stupid, right?
Make fun of it or its creator, because I'll tell you from first-hand experience, even if you're just kidding around, it will blow up in your face, and these people
No. Like, people made fun of Kojima for a while, here and there. Yeah, sure, you can make fun of Kojima, but if you keep doing it, chances are that it's gonna sound more of an insult. Just saying.
will stalk you for decades. They have some kind of just
Decades, stalking him for decades. Oh my god! He threw this part in so he could play the victim card. Show him how troubling a YouTuber that he is. No, I'm here because he's a very fascinating person because he says a lot of dumb things. I just want to make that clear that his stupidity is fascinating. That's all.
a massive ego and just elitist attitude when it comes to their favorite games, that God forbid that you would play it and not show it off to its utmost fullest capacity at a high ass level, which makes no sense, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen, Dark Souls and Metal Gear Solid aren't competitive games. They're single player experiences.
No one said that they were. Even oh my god, every time he talks about this, it's so fucking annoying. Like, it makes me want to punch him in the face. And right now, someone's just, that sounds very elitist of you to say that. But the thing is that if you're calling people that you don't know and people who are just saying that, hey man, you suck at the game elitist, that's like going a step too far. I mean, it's just, ugh.
Meant to be played however the hell you want because you bought them. It's that simple. If we could have a much more accepting community who wasn't always in it for this elitist ass level of gameplay, I think that we'd all enjoy gaming a lot better. It sucks when you hear about someone who maybe recorded a playthrough, put it on YouTube for the very first time, and all they get are these negative ass comments about how they suck and they should have done it this way or that way. Come on, can't we all collectively grow up?
Yeah, giving people suggestions is fucking stupid, while Phil listens to stream chat when people tell him how to play, and he plays based on what's in the stream chat. Interesting.
Here and realize that gaming is about having fun at its core. I just don't get it. I've never been of that mentality except when it came to competitive Street Fighter, and you know what, in recent years, now that I'm out of that scene, I realize just how silly of a mentality that ever
While he still talks shit to people in the Street Fighter
was to have been in. Ooh. Well, that's it for part 2 of the countdown, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed it. And once again, please leave a comment on the video. Let me know if you agree or you disagree with what I said in this video. I get the feeling some From Software fans are going to come at me, and that's perfectly fine. Also, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like here on YouTube.
He said that shit again. Oh my god, I hate when people say, if you have something negative to say, that's okay. No. If you have something negative to say, you're gonna say it regardless. You don't have to feel okay that you have these feelings. If you don't like my videos, hey man, that's okay. Like, it's fucking silly. But that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in part 3.